ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Interesting Ideas. I'm Stan. And the other day someone asked me what my name was. I just simply said, I'm Stan. And she said, well, Stan what or who? And with a smile, I like to have fun occasionally. Oh, just Stan, like Brando, Cher, Madonna, Trump, Oprah, just Stan. Now, I oftentimes have fun with people. I could say the Stan, but I don't quite do that as if I'm the Stan, the Stan man. But it's oftentimes fun when I'm complimenting other people. They answer with their name, and then I'll say, really? The, and then I use their name. So let's just say it's Janice. And her name is Janice Jones. And she said, hi, this is Janice. And I said, really? You mean the Janice Jones? And they smile or they laugh. It's just a way of saying, well, you're really important. You're the Janice Jones. And that goes with the secret sign idea. That's right. One of the lessons I'm going to teach people in my classes on how to build your own small business and have global reach. That's coming up. How to build your own small business and have global reach. And I tell them, please remember, everybody is wearing a secret sign. And you know what it says? Here's what it says. Please tell me I'm important. That's right. Everybody has a deep desire to feel important. And so, it's real easy to do that for people. So see if you can do that sometime, maybe even today. So we're full of interesting ideas for insight, influence, impact, and income. And here's an idea that I think some people are missing. And it was all the rage or the race or the ravings. Yes, here I am. I'm Stan and I'm old, and so I remember. And here we go. Remember Old Yeller. And remember the Kristi Noem reason. The Kristi Noem story. I'm Stan, and I think we'll learn something this Monday evening that might be helpful and useful to us from the story of the weekend about shooting the dog. I'm Stan Houston. Stan! And the program is Interesting Ideas. It begins right now. So here we go. Now, as I tell people, one of the reasons you want to have interesting ideas is the more ideas you have and put into the universe. And by the way, we talked a little bit about that on our transformation podcast on Friday, is you actually have a better chance of escaping the artificial intelligence deal. And we will have greater explanations about that. But remember, artificial intelligence is not intelligence. It's not that far yet. At least it will never be in my lifetime and probably yours. Who knows where it will lead? As someone once pointed out that the phenomenon that fascinated us in 1960s with Star Trek was that the 25th century, they had a computer that could talk. That's right. Spock would just ask the computer a question, and the computer could talk. Wow! Well, that was the 25th century, and here we are, 21, And that is now a reality. So who knows what computers might be able to do centuries from now. It might be kind of scary. But right now, yes, artificial intelligence, or AI as we call it, what I say aggregated information, will change a lot of things about how work is done and who gets to do it. And it will make incredible opportunities for some, and it will make it very, very difficult for other people to have the work they do have. And that will happen. It always happens when there's a major technological change or achievement. So here's just a few things. Hey, what kind of ideas? Well, how about intelligent ideas? Smart ideas, inquisitive ideas, instructional ideas, instigating ideas, innovative ideas, idealistic ideas. Now let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. Can you think of other ones so we can have maybe 9 or 10? But there we go. Kinds of ideas, and as I say, it may make you a more interesting person, and that will be helpful. That will be useful. Not only are you an interesting person, but then you really have the influencer winner. That could maybe an influencer idea. I hadn't thought of that. Hey, the more interesting you are, and the more interested you are in other people. Two things. Put them together, and that could be a career and life enhancer starting right now. Well, here we go. When the story broke about Kristi Noem, who I have some acquaintance with because I have a number of friends in South Dakota, and she is a well-respected, she is a ranch girl. And I've done a lot of work with the ranch industry, the dude ranch industry, so I'm very, very familiar with people who live on ranches in the cowboy world. And she is a ranch girl from South Dakota. And that's who she is. And she became the governor of South Dakota, and she did well. She was unanimously, it seemed, reelected, and has a great record of achievement in building South Dakota up, making it a place where thousands, literally, of businesses are going to. And as they point out, it's a great climate for business. It's not always a great climate because the winters can be pretty ragged and rugged in South Dakota. But she's done well, and some people think she someday should run for president. Well, she was smart enough to know that even if she did want to do it, she shouldn't do what some of her colleagues were doing. She didn't attempt to challenge, Trump. And one of the reasons was that she made a vow, keep to her word, that she would finish her term as governor. And she's going to do that. She's not going to run for president. She's going to finish the term. But when the book story came out about the fact that she talks about shooting a bad dog, and a killer dog was killing livestock. It was dangerous. And she shot the dog. And she's shot other animals. Now, people, what? You didn't have to shoot the dog. Well, you don't quite understand what life can be like on a ranch. Now, one of the saddest stories, and it is a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, who tells the story that one of his greatest and wonderful horses, if you're a long-time cowboy like my friend, you go through dogs and horses, they really do. You have a horse, and then you have to replace the horse, another horse. and you have a dog and you have to replace the dog. He still says it was the finest horse he had. He loved it. Of all the horses he's had, this was the best one. And it was, a number of years ago, and he was he was a much younger man. And one day, his wife was driving in to what they call, the headquarters. That's the ranch house in the big ranch. And she was blinded by the sun, and she didn't see his horse. And she ran smack dab into the horse and broke both of its legs. Now, some of you know what's going to happen. That's right. There they were. And oftentimes, a horse's leg can't heal. The horse has to be put down. Well, they didn't have a vet nearby. They were way out in the wilderness. Putting a horse down is not like putting a small puppy or a small dog down that you take to the clinic and the vet, issues. And I've gone through that, 3 times, and I cry each time. I have just bawled. And many of you know what I mean. Yeah. You had to put, 3 of them, and they were wonderful dogs. Yeah, and I'm kind of broken up. It's going to be hard, As I one time said to my wife, I said, well, the next time we get a dog, I want the dog to outlive me, so I don't have to think about putting it down. Well, that wasn't the case that he was able to do that, and he tells the story that as the horse laid there with broken legs, that can't be repaired, in great misery, he himself brought out the shotgun and put the horse down. And just think about that. Think about what happens to any man who has to go through that. Now, many of you are now getting back into the story because I remember, and it goes back many years, there was a Walt Disney film called Old Yeller. It was one of the favorite of the Walt Disney films. Now, we're going back way over 60 years. And I remember seeing that film. Our folks were very, very conservative, and so they made sure that we only went to good movies. None of those raunchy Hollywood movies, And at that time, a Walt Disney movie usually qualified as a good movie, so we got to go see Old Yeller. And of course, some of you know, either from the stories or just exactly as I knew, that it's a story about a wonderful old dog in the prairie. Oh, and it was a wonderful movie because it was just about a family nothing great. It was a family living in the difficult times of doing farming and ranching in the frontier. And Old Yeller got rabies, and he became literally a mad and dangerous dog. So dangerous that they feared for their own life, particularly after one of the young child particularly tried to free him and let him go, and that could have killed the child, and he ran up and they stopped the boy. And then the oldest son said, I'll do it. And the story is, it shows the picture there, and he puts the gun up and he shoots the dog. And then he just walks away. The gun falls to the ground. Sad movie. And I still remember, I cried. He had to kill Old Yeller. Well, here's the story. Of course, many of the people who critique Kristi Noem don't understand the Western cowboy way of life. I could not believe all the stupid statements that were being made by people who have no idea of what sometimes you have to do when you live out on the rugged range of the world. They're dumb. They don't know. And the point was, as she said, why did she include that in her book? Wow, people said, how dumb to talk about shooting your dog. Well, her whole point was that there are times in life when you really have to do hard things. Yeah, things you hate, things you don't want. They're really hard to do. Yeah. Well, think about that. Have you ever had to do some really hard things? Well, I have one incident that I'll tell you about, and then we'll finish up and you think about it. I'm Stan, the Stan, and this is Interesting Ideas, and we're going to think about this week sometimes, what do you have to do when you do hard things? We'll be back. Well, here we go. Kristi Noem was right on, and the people who critiqued her should apologize to her. Though some people said, now she'll never be nominated for vice president. So what? Who cares? I don't think she does. She was illustrating the life she had to and still has to live, and so do we. I remember when after my father had a stroke, and we were all there, and he was wondering, well, I'm going to go back home now. And Mom was there, and I was the oldest son, and I had to tell him that he couldn't go home. He couldn't go home again. He was going to have to go into the nursing home. He couldn't go to his own home again. And I had to tell him that. And I saw the understanding was deep and sorrowful. Oh, no, Stan. Let me go home. I'm sorry, Dad. You can't go home again. Now, all of you perhaps can share some of those same moments. And Kristi Noem was illustrating a fact of life. Adversity is part of the plan. And please remember, she's absolutely right. She showed her heart and she showed her hardness. That many times in life, you have to do hard things. And by God's grace and glory, we can sometimes do them. And if they're too hard and we make a few mistakes, I guess sometimes that will just be where we do the hard thing and ask for forgiveness, which is kind of hard to do sometimes. I'm done for today. I'd love to hear from you. My name is Stan, and you can reach me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. I can help you with a number of things. Just ask me how, and I'll say, tell me your story. How do you need help? And there's a good chance I can help you. Best and blessings, as I said, and I'll say it again, maybe 2 or 3 times, because we all need that in these challenging times. Take care, and bye for now.